Welcome everyone to Winning in the Shadows. Andy and Jim here. We're breaking down UFC Fight Night. Khalil Rountree Jr. and Jamaahal Hill in the main event. We're going to break down all the fights. And at the end, we're going to do our Parlay Buster and our Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda. No time to waste. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. That way you get notified when all these videos go up. Join the family. Don't be left out. Don't be the guy that's not subscribed to the channel. Come on. Help a brother out here. All right, Jim, let's get into it. This week, we're going to start with the main event. We're going to kind of do a reverse. Normally, we start with undercard and work our way up. Let's start with the main event and work our way down. Jamaahal Hill, Khalil Rountree. How do you see the main event going?
I cannot trust Jamaahal Hill. I understand the level of competition. I get it. I'm not passing over. I'm not glossing over it. But, man, there's something about an Achilles injury. There just is. And I know it's been, how long? What are we on, a year and a half? 2 years?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while.
Don't you think we would have seen him back?
Yeah, it was June of what, 2023, I believe. So we're coming up on 2 years.
I just don't know if we're ever going to see that championship level from Jamaahal Hill again. I do understand the cardio concerns with Khalil in this spot. However, I don't think it's going to be very forced. I don't think he's going to have to throw a lot of volume. Jamaahal makes such massive fundamental errors. And when he had his athleticism and he was thinner and he was in better shape, he could avoid shots. He could slip and move and shoulder roll. I don't know if he can do this against Khalil. There's going to be a huge speed advantage when Khalil decides to put his combinations together. And this guy has done nothing but get better. Nothing but get better. You go back to the beginning of his career, he's losing decisions to boring wrestlers. And I know it's not the toughest level of competition, but he has looked better fight after fight after fight. And I personally like the fact that he's low volume because he maintains his finishing power to the third round when he put Anthony Smith out. Look again, round 2 finish, round 2 finish, round 3 finish. He goes up to fourth round with Alex Pereira, and then it's just an accumulation of damage at that point. I like Khalil. I'm going to stay on Khalil. I'm going to stay on the Jamaahal Hill fade train. Even if Jamaahal wins this fight, I think you go right back to it again. I just can't take this guy seriously. And if he comes out with 2 knee sleeves on again, bet the farm on Khalil.
Yeah.
It's that simple to me.
Yeah, Jamaahal Hill has a big following, and I know there's going to be a lot of negative comments. Oh, you guys know Jamaahal Hill is going to win and blah, blah, blah. I can poke holes in both of these guys. Yeah, I can poke holes in both of these guys' records. So, I mean, I'll just go over Jamaahal Hill's big win streak. Jimmy Crute, Johnny Walker, who gets knocked out by a stiff breeze. Thiago Santos, who is losing in other organizations now. And then Glover Teixeira in the retirement. And then he has the Achilles injury. Say what you want. He came back too fast. Big money. Like, it was a big payday. I get it. But that was way too soon. And then, gets, sparked and knocked out by Yuri, which I'm with you on the Achilles injury. We made a lot of money in these last 2 fights fading him. I'm stunned at how many people just gloss over the Achilles injury. Yeah. Like, do you guys know there's a 2-year injury? Like, guys in NBA that tear an Achilles, they're not right for 2 years. So, we're about the 2-year mark. So is he back? Maybe. I just don't think he's got a very diverse kind of attacking style. And now I can go to Khalil Rountree. I can poke a lot of holes in this guy's record. Okay, knocks out Anthony Smith, who is now retired. A Dawkins. He beat a Dawkins. Dustin Jacoby. I'm not sure he won that fight. Carl Robertson, Bukowski. So you can poke holes in these guys' records. So now it's kind of more of the eye test. And I think leg kicks from Rountree are going to be the most important weapon that we see. I think if he can get to the legs of Jamaahal Hill early, that's going to take away any speed that Jamaahal Hill has, and now he's left with basically one path to victory, which is just trying to get a massive KO. It's not going to be a client play. It's not going to be a play that I play with my own money, but I lean Rountree in this one. we are 2 years away from the Achilles injury. Maybe he's back. Maybe he's in shape. I mean, can talk about not being in shape in that Alex Pereira fight. That was the gift that was the gift of all gifts. So, yeah, Roundtree is going to be the pick for me. But again, and you mentioned cardio. I'm not sure cardio is going to matter in this one. This thing could get pretty violent pretty quick.
That's actually where I landed on this. My favorite bet is the under 3.5.
I love the under 3.5. I don't think these guys screw around. I think they get right to it. And once one of them lands a big shot, I think then the other one's going to try and return fire, and all of a sudden we got a big fight. So, yeah, under is probably the most confident I would feel in betting on this one. So, we move to the co-main, Rafael Fiziev and Ignacio Bahamondes. Here's another guy that I just don't really believe in. I don't understand the love for Rafael. Again, I keep going through this about, poking holes. It's like, okay, RDA, was that a good? I guess, but now we're back in 2022. Brad Riddell with the wheel kick, but loses to Gagey, loses to Gamrot, loses to Gagey again. To be honest, I didn't think he looked very good in the last Gagey fight. And here's another guy that has dealt with injuries. I mean, the leg injury against Gamrot. Is he 100%? I mean, he took a long time off, and I just didn't think he had his explosiveness against Gagey in the last one. I think this is going to be a really, really big problem. The other thing, Fiziev struggles with long and rangy fighters, which Bahamondes absolutely is. But now I'm looking at Bahamondes. Like, he gets a triangle choke against Jalen Turner. It goes down as a sub. Fact is he was on bottom. Jalen Turner was on top of him. Knocks out Manuel Torres because Manuel Torres decided he wasn't going to block any punches. And now we're going to Christos Giagos. My pick here is I don't believe Rafael is 100%. I think his better days are behind him. Maybe he proves me wrong. I would love to see him back because I know that the fans love him. I'm going with the longer fighter against Rafael here. I'm going with Bahamondes to work the jab. I think those kicks are going to be really, really good from the outside. And Rafael's going to have to get inside, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that a lot. I do think what could be sneaky is if Fiziev can get a takedown. That could really, really turn the point of a round. But the pick for me is going to be Bahamondes. What say you?
I'm on Bahamondes' side.
Okay.
I'm with you. I'm one who got duped as well. Like with the Fiziev love. Like, it was the Matrix, move where he ducked under the kick and leaned back. I got duped. And looking back on it now, you're right. It just seems like he's still just a kickboxer, and that's it. And I love his combinations. I love how he goes to the body. He's going to struggle with the length. That's going to be a major problem. Where I actually landed on this fight, better than Bahamondes, is I like this fight to go the distance. I think this ends up being a decision. Fiziev is tough. Went the distance with Gaethje. Bahamondes is notoriously tough. I don't see Bahamondes' ground game being like a super worry. Like, oh no, if he gets a takedown, he's going to submit Fiziev instantly. And like you said, he could end up on bottom, like just in a scramble. So I think we're going to have a round bleed away here with some kind of cage control or some kind of grappling of some sort from the Bahamondes side. So I think these guys go the distance, and it ends up being a close decision.
We move on to Curtis Blaydes and Rizvan Naimov. You said you kind of flipped on this fight. So what was your initial take, and what was with the change of heart?
Well, my initial take was I can't trust Curtis Blaydes until he proves to me that he's going to wrestle. From now on, betting live, the second that I see that the wrestler is not going to wrestler, I am dropping the hammer on the other guy.
To see the wrestler is not going to wrestler. I love it. It's a great phrase. But you're right. We see it way too often. Way too often.
I'm sitting there in the third round going, why didn't I live bet the other guy when the NCAA wrestler isn't going to wrestler? It's infuriating. So, but isn't that Curtis Blaydes to a T? That's his career to a T. If he would just wrestle.
Yeah.
He'd be the champion. So I can't trust it. However, going back and watching Kuniev. My God, this guy is a tub of lard. It's just this is the type of guy that Curtis Blaydes beats. He's to me on par with a Dawkins, with a Tabora, with a Collier, with a Parker Porter. It's just like
all the greatest hits.
All the greatest hits of the heavyweight division. I think even in the striking, Curtis is going to be okay. Pretty much if this fight goes past 2.5 minutes, it's Curtis Blaydes all day. If he can avoid getting clipped in the first 2.5 minutes, I think he rolls in this fight. Another spot I absolutely love to not go the distance. Curtis Blaydes could really shit the bed at any moment. So if he is going to get beat, he's going to get knocked out. And this Kuniev guy, if Curtis does wrestle, I don't think he's lasting 15 minutes underneath Curtis Blaydes. I don't. Curtis is coming off that win over Almeida. He's got some momentum going. At this point in his career, he knows he needs to string together 2, maybe 3 more wins if he even wants another shot at the title at all. So it's now or never for Curtis Blaydes. So I flip-flopped on it. I'm on Curtis in this spot, but I really like this fight not to go.
This Kuniev is I think is a fraud waiting to happen. You're going back to he wins on Contender Series and they say no.
That's
like
right.
He gets a finish on Contender Series and they're like, we're good. This is Dana White that gave Haley Cohen a contract. He gave who was the Mexican fighter that got his ass kicked and Dana was like, nobody said I should do this, but I'm going to give this guy who was I'll look.
What does Dana always say? I need heavyweights, but not you.
But not you, yeah. So he goes to Eagle. Okay, great. Then he beats Ferreira and tests positive for everything. Everything. He tested positive for everything. So then he goes back to Contender Series and fights this Hugo guy, who I don't think I've ever seen a guy on Contender Series be that terrified. He was a dead man walking. He was, I don't know what it was. The nerves got to him or whatever. And even then, Kuniev didn't look that great. He hit him with one knee with, 5 seconds left. The Hugo wanted nothing to do with that one. And you're right. He looked out of shape. He didn't look that great. I think this is Blaydes all day. And you're right. This is the kind of guy that Curtis Blaydes beats. Like, look who he's losing to. Aspinall, Pavlovich, huge power puncher. Derek Lewis, the uppercut from hell. I haven't seen anything from Rizvan to make me think he's going to lay out Curtis Blaydes. So, and if you want to say, well, Curtis Blaydes' chin, it's like, okay, Derek Lewis, Pavlovich, and Aspinall, that's what we're going by, like chinny. So it's Curtis Blaydes for me. I know it's juicy, but I think it's a great parlay piece, and I would be stunned if Blaydes loses this guy. Now, you're right. He could get in some stupid firefight and pull a Curtis Blaydes and forget, who he is. But even then, I just don't think Kuniev is that good. So I'll take Curtis Blaydes in this one. Orolbai versus Musayev. Where did you land on this one?
Well, this is the newest theory that I think we are launching here.
Agreed.
It's official. The local fighter theory is officially a thing. It's got to be a thing going forward. How is this guy 22-5 and in his 30s?
He's not just in his 30s. He's 35.
That's a good point. Yeah, 35. That's a big difference at this weight class. And he's just getting here now. And, okay, you could say, well, he hasn't had a visa. Okay, great. How many guys do you think had trouble getting visas, but if the UFC wanted him, they made it happen? They didn't make it happen for him?
Don't give me visa
It's a cop-out. To me, it's a cop-out. He's bounced around for multiple organizations, so he's never really found a home. They didn't feel like it was, essential to assign him to a 4-fight, 5-fight contract. You look down at it, this guy's doing 3-fight, 2-fight deals and then moving on. So, I think he's running into a berserker in Orolbai. Orolbai is going to stay in this guy's face. From what I've even seen from him in the second and third round, I'm not impressed. We know that Orolbai, you can hit him with a shovel and a sledgehammer, and he's still going to walk forward and try to fight.
We also know he won't block any shots from said shovel or sledgehammer. He will let you hit him with the shovel.
He does have one of those heads where you look at it and you're like, genetically, there's something special in that head. the bone structure, certain areas. It's just something special there for a fighter. I think he rolls in this spot. I really do. I think this is getting Orolbai a good win, giving the local fighter a chance, and we will fade the local fighter. The other thing with the local fighter is all the pressure's on you. Like, you could say it's like you're home and it's great, but like we've said before, is it better to have nobody in the crowd or 15 of your closest family members sitting ringside?
Yeah, so my understanding is Musayev's literally from this country in this area, and yeah, that's not good enough to get my money. No way. It's Orolbai, it's Orolbai or nothing in this one, and all things considered with the odds and everything, I just love this play. This guy got finished in Bellator in a fight that he really looked terrible. So now he goes
on that fight? May I?
Yeah,
that's a red flag.
Yeah,
getting finished by Shabley is a red flag.
Yeah. So got he's going to Riz and stuff, but I can't even remember the guy they brought in to try and fight Pantoja. He looked completely out of his element, and they try and bring these guys in, and then it's like, oh yeah, he's going up against a UFC fighter, much different. This is like some of these guys on Contender Series where Dana gives out shady contracts. They come in and they're fish out of water. It's like, yeah, you don't belong here. So, now I'm not saying Musayev doesn't belong here, but I like Orolbai. He makes some pretty dumb decisions sometimes. This fight against Rebecca was insane. I mean, they were both bloodied up. He had this hematoma on his eye. I'm pretty sure there was a broken orbital in there at some point. But I think his win against Elsbrenner was really good. I like the submission against Eros Medic. So I think it's Orolbai. I really, really like this one. Yes, I am concerned about a greasy decision. Yes, in this area, yes. So, I guess that's my caveat is be careful betting big on this card because there's a lot of unknowns and a lot of weird stuff happens over there. You have insane time changes. There was an event. What was the event where they painted the rooms?
Oh, yeah, they freshly painted the room.
They freshly painted the rooms, and guys were getting
puking.
sick. Yes, yeah, remember we were doing the live show, and we were like, what is wrong with him? Like, he looks so lethargic. Oh, he was poisoned. So, yeah, you got to be a little bit careful with this one, but all things considered, I think Orolbai rolls over Musayev. Volume for me isn't there, and on the ground, it's Orolbai all day, so... let's talk Nazim Sadykhov and Nikolas Motta. Who do you like in this one?
Well, I've had a bit of a checkered past with Nikolas Motta. I pegged him as a fighter that is just not UFC level when he first came in, and boy, did he look it. Got finished multiple times. I believe he was one of Jim's, right? Yeah, knocked out by
Jim Miller beat the shit out of him.
He beats Cameron Van Camp, who got sent out to BKFC, whatever.
And now
there's a local fighter.
Yeah,
right.
It's from my neck of the woods. He trained right up the road, and now he's awesome. He's perfect in bare knuckle. He's perfect. He was made for bare knuckle.
He was.
But yeah, and then the elbow from. Well, it's got to be one of the most vicious elbows I've ever seen. That made
and it's a Manuel Torres fight, so it's a car crash, right? The Trey Ogden fight ends up being a no contest, robbery for Ogden. Yeah. The old I'm unconscious, but I'm not. All right, make a decision and stick with it, refs. His win, okay, look at his wins here. Tom Nolan, who we know is not that great, okay, killer be killed fighter. And then Mahashate, who he couldn't finish. So Nikolas Motta, who's been billed as this killer, where's the killer? Where is it? It's really nowhere to be found. He finished a chinny Tom Nolan at this level. That's about it. That's it. So going up against Sadykhov, I think he's just going to be outclassed. I love Sadykhov. A lot of people hate on the guy. I just love that he does what he needs to do to win. He does what he needs to do. Wherever the fight may go, he can handle it, man. He can handle it no matter where it goes. So I like Sadykhov this fight. I think he absolutely rolls through Motta once Motta loses his knockout power in the first 2.5, 3 minutes of the fight.
I'm with you. I like Sadykhov as well. I don't think Motta's that good. Wasn't impressed even in his win in his last one. And yeah, Tom Nolan leaves his chin wide open. Motta caught him with one, but it wasn't a amazing performance over 3 rounds. It was just a quick one. So, and Sadykhov, yeah, he does these things where he's losing, and then all of a sudden he's winning. I mean, he was losing this fight against Evan Elder.
Yeah.
And then they get the cut. It was kind of lucky, but he did do the damage. He's a finisher. I mean, look at these. Look at these. He does go. He had a 10-8 round against Slava. He finished Terrence McKinney, who doesn't. But yeah, Bonfim, it was a good first round, and then he hit him so hard. Bonfim told the doctor, "I can't see." Mm-hmm. That was just in the first round. So this guy's violent. I think he's going to put on a show. Can I just say that this feels like a setup for this region? This
one
area.
does 100%.
This is the one that I'm like, this feels like a flashy knockout. Like, let's get Sadykhov somebody who he can spark. Hey, Motta hasn't fought in a minute. Let's call Nick. So yeah, I have Sadykhov. I would be fine with unders. I would be fine with Sadykhov by finish in this one. I'm just not impressed with Motta. Motta has done nothing to show me that he's worthy of betting money on, especially against someone like Sadykhov. So even though Sadykhov at times can look bad in fights, guy's a killer. He's a finisher, and I'm not even sure Motta can. I'm not sure Motta can take him into those waters where he's losing the fight. Like maybe Motta is active. I'll give him that. The volume is going to be there, but just the precision isn't there. The defense isn't there. So it's Sadykhov all day. All right, guys, we do have our UFC and PFL Gold best bet up. Listen, we're going to tell you when we win. We'll tell you when we lose. Last week sucked. We were bad last week. Reads were completely off in PFL. Some people that have never commented on any video were sure to let us know it last week, so shout out to you guys. But listen, we're fine. We're still number one at Wager Talk in MMA profits. And when we have a bad week, I kind of get a little excited because we don't have too many of them. It's a great bounce back spot. This is not going to be a high volume week for us. We only need a couple plays. We only need a couple plays on both these cards to turn a profit. And we have the PFL breakdown video on this channel as well. So if you want to check out our PFL breakdown video, go ahead and check that out. But yeah, we have our UFC and PFL Gold best bets that are up. We only need a few plays to turn a profit, and we're looking forward to it. These are plays that we bet with our own money. Last week wasn't good, but we're confident enough in our abilities, and we were due for a bad night. We had our bad night. It's in the past. We move on, and we're looking forward to cashing again. So join us, and yeah, I'm feeling great about this. I watched the PFL weigh-ins.
Mm-hmm. We picked our best of the best this week.
The PFL face-offs told me a big story. So all right, let's move on to UFC. Muhammad Naimov and Bogdan Grad. I'm interested. Are we going head-to-head in this one?
No.
Oh, we're not?
We're not.
Okay.
We were in the beginning. Here's why.
Now, so what happened was Jim and I. Yeah, Jim and I don't. We just briefly talk and then we go do our research. I'm normally first to do the research because I write my article on Sunday. Jim normally looks at it. And Jim was like, I love Naimov. And I was like, I like Bogdan Grad as the underdog in this one. So what did you see when she did a little bit more deeper research?
Well, let's start with Naimov. Now, first of all, we've made money on the guy. All right? Yeah. So we've already made money on him. Here's the problem. I don't know what ref is going to be in the cage. I started going down these fights, and it's like every single fight has massive illegal fouls. Like massive illegal fouls. Eye pokes, groin shots, fence grabs, points taken.
Fence grabs are
legal. And
legal.
he finds ways to win. Oh, yeah, well, for true. Fence grabs,
Jim,
it takes like 7, right? No, actually, it doesn't even it's like 10.
Seriously, can we stop this farce that fence grabs are illegal? The only punishment is you have Christian Yoni yell, "Don't grab the fence!" That's your punishment. That's it. I've never seen anybody in the last year be penalized for grabbing the fence. So it's not a foul. Let's just stop saying that it's a foul because all you do is have a ref bark at you. It's not a foul. It's the silliest thing ever. But I digress. Okay,
but
go
we
ahead.
Keep going. The eye pokes, the groin shots. There's always something with this guy. There is always something. And the whole reason we bet him last time was because he was fighting Khan Awfully, who is awful.
Awfully bad.
He's awfully bad. Loses against Felipe Lima. We like Felipe Lima.
We do like Felipe Lima. I love his skill set, man.
I went back and I watched the Nathaniel Wood fight, and I'm like, how did he not have 5 points taken? So
that's the one that I go back to. That is the one that I go back to.
It should have been a loss.
he should have had multiple points taken away from him. But to his credit, once he realized he wasn't getting points taken away, he was like, I'm just going to keep hitting this guy in the balls.
True. The ref's got to step in and do something, man.
That was the fence grab. That was the fence grab fight where I was like, okay, if you're not going to call that, if you're not going to take a point away on that, or at least not going to get, like, if you're not going to do anything for that, then why bother?
So that's where I land on Naimov. Now, if we go to Grad, I've watched Bogdan Grad pre-UFC, and we had said, like, oh man, I hope we get the Grad that we saw on Contender the second time. Would you say that we did or did not see that in his last fight? Because I don't think we did. That's what was keeping me off it. It seemed to me like he regressed back to what he was. Now he gets the finish against Lucas Alexander. Let's not forget that Lucas Alexander was on his deathbed with that weight cut.
Yes.
As well. So he gets the finish on a obviously compromised Lucas Alexander. But I saw the regression back to the meme with Bogdan Grad. So I'm not going to have faith that we're going to see that berserker of a fighter with high output and high volume that we saw in Contender. I do think that's going to be enough to beat Sadykhov, though. If he can stay on the feet. Or Naimov. That's going to be a challenge, this card, getting all these names right. I think he can beat him on the feet. Now, I don't also see him being taken down or controlled. He might even have the advantage when it comes to the actual wrestling. So I ended up flip-flopping. I do believe Grad will win. It's not going to be a bet for me, but that's where I landed. I can't back Naimov in this spot.
My biggest issue is the price here. Bogdan Grad plus 225. You're not laying minus 278 on Naimov because I think this fight is really close to a pick'em. Grad is not going to stop. He's not going to get tired. He's going to still have some gas left in the tank in the third round, and he's going to make these exchanges pretty close. I think this is going to be a very chaotic fight. Yeah, you're right. We've done well on both these guys. That's another thing that's kind of tough is we've had a good read on Naimov, and we had good read on Bogdan Grad. That Contender Series fight was awesome, and yeah, he did good in his UFC debut, and this is a Bogdan Grad that he got torched by Tom Nolan, the Hurricane, and he went out and he got a lot better. These finishes were really good, and then this fight against Aswell was amazing. That was one of the better fights on Contender Series. So I've watched him get progressively better, and he did what he was supposed to do. He finished a compromised Lucas Alexander. So my biggest problem is this minus 278 right now on DraftKings on Naimov. I think it's much, much closer. This is a live bet opportunity if I've ever seen one. If you see Grad having success and you're looking at plus money or even money, yeah, you're taking him. Like both guys, pre-fight, I'm not going to bet it, but yeah, Bogdan Grad at the plus money. If you're looking for underdogs on this card, I don't think you could do a whole lot worse than that one. Ko versus Oban Elliott. Oban Elliott is big time, huge favorite. I mean, we're talking the minus 500, minus 450 range. So Ko's coming off of Contender Series. We always do notes from all the guys that get Contender Series. He fought this really chaotic Igor Cavalcanti, and I think it would have been really easy to get drawn into a really stupid fight. Like he could have made some dumb moves. He kept his composure. He's got a judo background. I thought that was a fight that a lot of guys would have lost just because Igor would have gotten him into a firefight and won in an exchange. I like this guy's skill set. I think he's talented. I think he loses. I don't think he's got enough for Oban Elliott. Am I putting Oban Elliott at minus 500 in parlays? Absolutely not. No chance. I like Oban Elliott. He's got a great story. He's gotten better with each and every fight. There's just something there. It's like he's thinking too much. That's whenever I watch Oban Elliott, I'm like, you're thinking too much. Like it doesn't just come natural to him, the big strikes or everything. So I think he's processing things. It's getting a little bit faster. But I think Ko's got the skills to make this much, much closer. I think if you're holding a minus 500 on Oban Elliott, you might be a little bit nervous at some times. Ko's a legit fighter. This isn't a great matchup for him. Oban Elliott is a pick, but am I putting him in parlays or betting him? Hell no. What's your take?
The number's asinine. Just
Crazy.
absolutely asinine. This is a situation where they've priced you out. Nobody with a right mind is laying this number on Oban Elliott. And I like Oban Elliott. I agree with everything you said about him. He's gotten better each time. You hit the absolute nail on the head. He is still thinking his way through his style and his ways in the cage. That's okay. But he's not at a minus 700. I don't want a guy who's thinking about what he wants to do. I want a guy that knows who he is, knows what he's good at, and is going to go out there and implement his game plan and fight free. So there is a stiffness to Oban Elliott's game. I do agree that I think Ko is a legit fighter. I think he is a legit prospect. Is he a title challenger? No, okay. But we've seen some horrible Korean fighters. On the scale of good fighters, he is one of the top. Okay,
Agreed.
I loved what I saw from him. I loved the patience. We've seen these top guys from these conferences come in and look good. They do have their moments. There's like a quiet confidence about Ko, which I absolutely love. And prime example here is this fight. You have a guy who's thinking, who's a little bit awkward, and you have a guy who's confident. Who's going to fight freer? The guy who's a plus 350 underdog and is confident? Yes. So, no, I don't want the stiff guy who knows that everybody's got him parlayed. God only knows, I think it's just too much price-wise. For the sake of the video, I'm going to take Ko. So we'll go head-to-head on this one.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I certainly can't argue the price on that one. So, Ismail, Naurdiev, and Iron Turtle, you go first. What's your breakdown?
Well, the Turtle, you're going to get Turtle moments. The nickname is going to tell you what you're going to get with him. You're going to get
looks like a turtle in his profile picture.
Yeah. If you painted him green, he's an
He almost is a little green tint in this photo. It's a terrible photo. Up your game, Iron Turtle. Come on.
Come out green for the face-offs. He's going to give you a round where he ends up on his back for the whole round. He just is.
Sadly,
it's usually the first, right? He usually makes the second close, and in the third, you're like, okay, is he going to win? Is he not going to win? It's just always a close fight with this guy. And going up against Naurdiev, a guy who left the UFC and has now returned, I don't know, man. What's your opinion on him looking better? Because after hearing what we heard about Bruno Silva and seeing what we saw from Bruno Silva, I kind of got to throw this win right out the window against
It's
Bruno
a non-existent win. Bruno Silva,
right?
Sadly, is going through some stuff. He's not in a good mental space. Yeah. I can't imagine the demons that's inside of that poor guy. I hope he gets it figured out, but he's stuck in a place where he's a professional fighter. That's his livelihood. That's how he makes a living. That's how he provides for his family, and he doesn't want to do it. But he's stuck. This is something that, Bruno Silva's got 34 fights. This is all this man has known, and now he doesn't want to be in there, and he's stuck. And that's who Naurdiev barely beat. I know it says unanimous decision. Not exactly a real dominant, wow, he put a stamp on this one. And before that, he lost 2 out of 3 in Brave. I no chance I'm betting on Naurdiev in this. Absolutely no chance. I like Orolbai and I like Park a lot for their prices. If this stays around let me pull up the odds here real quick. What is?
Well, Park is
Park's creeping up to a minus 200. He's at minus 192. So money is coming in on Park. I think Park. You're right. Park is going to end up on his back at some point, but on the feet, Park's going to move forward. He's got this weird striking where it's not super crisp, but it's just. He's just like always kind of doing this, and it's super annoying. And he'll land something, and then all of a sudden he's on your back choking you out or something. But no, Naurdiev, I put 0 into that win of Bruno. So I almost might
hold it
knock him a little bit.
Yeah.
For that performance and a win. So.
See where I landed with this liking Park but not loving the number. I think you wait. I think you really wait because Park's first rounds are usually his worst rounds. If he's going to get taken down, he might end up on his back in the first. You might be able to nab him at a much better playable number. But you got to wait, man. You got to wait to see if he's going to be able to get up and how many rounds he's going to give you of being a turtle. Hopefully, he only gives you one.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we move on to Darya. I'm not going to butcher her last name. We'll just say Darya versus Melissa. So this is Melissa
Darya
Mullins. She just be. It was a different name. Melissa Mullins and Darya. How do you break this one down?
Well, Darya can't stop a takedown to save her life. So that's where I answer on this.
Okay,
I don't want to bet
fair.
on Melissa Mullins, and I'm not going to bet on a female fighter who can't stop a takedown. It's a complete and utter no bet. I don't think you can play a distance prop. Darya could get taken down and pounded through the canvas. Melissa Mullins could make a Melissa Mullins move and lose the fight in a heartbeat. I cannot bet anything either way. Totals, sides, anything. This is as low level and holes wide open in skill sets in women's MMA that you can get. I just think this is the records are so deceiving, 9-2 and 7-1. But both of these girls have massive, massive holes, massive IQ problems. I have no interest in a bet in this fight whatsoever. I'll tell you when we bet on something. I'll tell you when I want no part of it, and I want no part of this one.
Oh, give me that minus 130 on the under 2.5. Someone's going to make a massive.
Well,
someone.
There you go.
Someone's going to make a massive screw up, and someone's going to get finished because Melissa Mullins, she can get finished as Nora Cornell finished her, and then she gets Segula down and does the ground and pound, and it's the same with Darya. Darya's got good striking. But Darya got taken down and finished by Eileen Perez. Eileen Perez does not finish people in the first round. That's not her game. Goes to decision against Rendon because everyone goes to decision against Rendon. And in their first fight, Melissa Mullins was getting her ass kicked. And then she got the finish. Both women got their asses kicked in the first round. I don't see a world in which this goes to the judges at all. Like you said, Darya has no takedown defense whatsoever. So if Mullins wants to get into the ground, it's Mullins all day. And on the feet, Melissa Mullins doesn't have any striking defense, and Darya's going to tune her up. Someone's getting finished in this one. Give me this fight not to go the distance. I don't care who wins. I don't care who wins. This fight doesn't go the distance. So this is a sneaky women's fight that people look at women's fight. Oh, it's going to go the distance. No way. No way. This goes very far. There's too many holes in both women's games. Someone's getting finished. So that's the only way I would play this one. All right, we move on to Claudia Segula.
Speaking of holes in games.
Can I be rude and say you have to have a game to have holes in the game?
This is a good point. Good point.
Claudia,
this is going to be 30 great minutes of MMA if these fights are back-to-back, guys.
Yeah, Irina Alexieva against Claudia Segula. Easy on the eyes. I think she's a really bad fighter that's nowhere near UFC caliber. If Alexieva does not win this fight, you cut her immediately. If Alexieva cannot beat this girl, she should not be in UFC. This should be a loser leaves town match. Alexieva is going to be bigger, stronger, and you thought Darya has bad takedown defense. Segula has way worse takedown defense. She went down like a sack of potatoes against Melissa Mullins, and to combat that, she doesn't have very good striking. So I'm not really sure where Alexieva is going to struggle at all. I don't know. Cardio, maybe Alexieva tires out. I don't think she's going to get that tired taking Segula down. I have Alexieva big in this one. What do you think?
Well, I have a solution for these two fights.
Okay.
If I'm Dana White, I'm taking both of these matchups and I'm putting them together. We're doing a fatal four-way.
Oh, fatal four-way. I like this idea. This
right?
is great. Yeah.
You want to get some excitement with these fights? Fatal four-way. Send all four in, two refs, right? Get the two worst refs so they just don't call anything, right? It's just a free-for-all.
Oh, this is great.
We see who emerges. I mean, that's blockbuster entertainment right there. Irina should absolutely run through Claudia. Irina is not good, but she's tough. She's a little crazy. She's got that psycho in her. And I think that comes in handy.
Got the psycho in her. I like that. All right.
She's a little off. Irina's a little off to me. Wouldn't trust her in a back alley. Wouldn't turn
Okay.
my back. And just like you said, I don't know really what Claudia does well. I don't think she does anything well. So at least I know that Irina's going to come forward and swing heavy. And like you said, if she gets into the ground, Claudia's in deep, deep trouble. Deep trouble.
Agreed. We'll move on to Tagir Ulanbekov against Azat Maxim. What's your breakdown on this fight?
I like Tagir. He's another one that everybody wants to poke holes in, but the guy just keeps winning.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
we can say what we want, but he's 16-2. Like, I get it. They're close fights, but he just wins. I have real concerns about Maxim. I know he got that quick, jump on in, come on into the deep end thing. And we've seen this where guys have decent showings, and then their next fight, they stink. They lose, and they're just never going to reach that point again. It's like that was their highlight of their career. Maxim coming in out of nowhere, okay, and fighting.
It's a split decision against Tyson Nam, and then he got taken down by Charles Johnson.
But what was the circumstances where he came in? He came in to fight Tyson Nam, but it was late notice and highly touted, all this stuff. But the loss to Charles Johnson, I can't, man. I love Charles Johnson. We both love Charles Johnson. But Tagir's on a different planet than Charles Johnson. He does leave some things to be desired. He can tire. But again, he finds ways to win. So I like Tagir. I'm not buying into Maxim. I think it's going to show that he's a middle of the road fighter when his career is all said and done.
Yeah, and also keep in mind, Ulanbekov's minus 455, so you're not laying a money line. If you want to bet him, it's going to have to be a parlay or something. I wouldn't take an Ulanbekov finish. I would not touch the over unders because Maxim's going to have some success on the feet. We know that because Ulanbekov. I love guys that do this. I love guys that he knows himself. He has very good self-awareness. I'm not the guy that's going to land 190 strikes in a fight. What I am going to do is I'm going to keep the round close, and then with 2.5 minutes, and we do this on our live stream all the time. We're like, watch for the takedown at the halfway point, and then bang, takedown, and he holds him there to win the round. Like, you can just predict it with some of these guys. We do it all the time on the live stream. You're like, oh, yeah, he's just going to keep this close on the feet, keep this close on the feet. Oh, 215, yep, shoot, takedown, yep, okay, half guard, going to hold you there. That's what Ulanbekov does. He keeps the fights close, then he gets on the ground. And when he gets Maxim on the ground, he's going to hold him there for as long as he wants. Maybe a submission or a ground and pound comes through, but he's not a ground and pound type of guy. When he wins, there's submissions. Lost to Tim Elliott when the takedown guy beat the takedown guy at his own game, and that's just not Maxim's game. Ulanbekov comes from obviously a great camp. He's been training with Habib since he was a kid, basically. So I think Ulanbekov's days are kind of getting numbered because he's in his 30s. It's so much wear and tear that these guys go through, and when it goes, it seems to go pretty quick. There's going to be really good spots to fade him in the near future. I just don't think this is it. I don't think this 15-1 record. This 15-1 record is going to trick a lot of people. Like, oh, I get a 15-1 favorite like at this big. I don't see it on this one. So, all right, we'll move on to the fight that we didn't want. It's the fight we needed, Jim. It's Muhammad Usman and our old friend Hamdi. Who absolutely effed us against Donzel Mays when we were like, Mays is at least going to have cardio because this Hamdi guy has no cardio, and all of a sudden, Hamdi had a lot of cardio. How did that happen? Oh, it turned out he was on all the steroids, and it gets overruled. It gets overturned to a no contest, and you can call all your sports books. They ain't giving you your money back, and that's a really, really frustrating one. And then he beats Jamal Pogues in a fight that Jamal Pogues clearly won.
Jamal Pogues was crying on the way to the ring. Let's not forget. You remember that
He was
fight?
crying on the way to the win.
Bawling on the way to the ring.
And then he won the fight, and somehow the judges gave it to Hamdy. It's like this Hamdy guy. I think I'm banning myself from betting this one, even though I have a very strong opinion. How do you break down Usman and Hamdy?
I echo everything you just said, first of all. Also, with the banning ourselves from betting it.
Yeah,
it just seems like chaos follows this guy. Now, Muhammad Usman is a bad fighter, but most heavyweights are bad. I think we got to stop talking about these heavyweights being bad and just saying that they're heavyweights, and it's what they are. Losing to Myktybek, losing to Thomas Peterson. Two of the more, would you say, journeyman style fighters in the heavyweight division. Are they the next generation of the Parker Porters and the Colliers and the Dawkinses?
I don't think Mick Parkin is. I think Parkin's going to have some success. I mean, he's going to be one of these guys that fights on the prelims, and he's going to be one of those guys that give guys really close fights. He trains with insanely good training partners. So Peterson. Yeah, I've had really good reads on Thomas Peterson. This might be one of my new guys where I can read this. I mean, the amount of money we made fading him against Gaziev was quite great. So I think we know who Thomas Peterson and Mick Parkin is at this point, and I think we know who Usman and Hamdy is. So which guy that we know, which one's going to come out on top?
Well, here's what I know. I can't think for both of these guys. What I do know is that 2 minutes into this fight, both guys are going to be tired. I do know that coming out of the first round, they are going to be covered from head to toe in sweat, okay, fighting in Baku, which is going to be hot. So if this fight does not end in the first 30 seconds.
And it's not.
It's going to cruise to a decision with two big, tired, sweaty guys leaning up against the cage for 10 more minutes. I don't see finishing upside from either guy. Usman can be taken down. Hamdy's going to have to work so hard to do it because this vaunted Olympic wrestling that everybody wants to talk about with Hamdy is still not going to be enough to hold Usman down. He struggled with Jamal Pogues. And not just Jamal Pogues, the monster that ate Jamal Pogues. Jamal Pogues showed up to that fight heavy as hell, looked horrible.
Jamal Pogues outstruck him by a million.
And won the fight. So I think either guy you're just out on, and you just take this fight to go the distance. It will be, you'll know really quick whether it's going to be a winning bet or not.
All right, here's my, we don't do locks. Give me Muhammad Usman on the +3.5.
Ooh, okay.
He's going to win a round. Mm-hmm. He's probably going to win 2 rounds. Mm-hmm. And the judges are going to say, you won 1 round because Hamdy's our boy? This Hamdy guy is just, he's so bad. He doesn't throw any volume. And I will say this, Usman just carries way too much muscle. He gets himself tired. He's a big boy. Hamdy's going to have to work really hard to get him down. Really, really hard. Usman can't get, Usman's not taking Hamdy down. He is going to land some shots on the feet. That's going to happen. And Hamdy's going to grab him, and don't be surprised if you see Usman landing elbows to the head or some punches to the body and everything. So Usman's going to have success. I just need all these judges to just give Usman 1 round, and I think he's going to be able to do that. Hamdy's terrible. He's a wrestler, not necessarily a UFC fighter. So I think I can protect myself. If I bet on the dog on the money line and I get absolutely hosed on a horrific decision, this is my way of protecting myself. Give me Usman +3.5 because I think the judges are going to be looking for reasons to give Hamdy the win. He did land that foot stomp. Let's give him round 3. You know what I mean? It's like, well, he got outstruck 49-1 in that round. That foot stomp though, Usman was limping there for a few seconds. It's weird stuff like that happens in Hamdy's fights. So I have no doubt that Hamdy is on everything. If you think that he isn't going to be ready to go, then you have another thing coming. So Usman plus 3.5. Don't be surprised if they get done and the announcer's like, great performance by Usman, and it's like, Judge 1 scores it, and you're like, oh, great, here we go. Here's a split going to Hamdi once again. So plus 3.5 on Usman is going to be the pick in this one. All right, let's do the Parlay Buster and the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Tough one for the Parlay Buster. I don't. So first time joining us. First off, thank you for watching. And what we do with the Parlay Buster is we try and pick a fight that we think everybody's going to have a play on, and say, be a little bit worried about that one. So, Jim, what's your Parlay Buster? It's got to be a play that we think everybody's going to play.
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of the last names parlayed together. So I will say, Muhammad Naimov.
Oh.
I think, if you have, we see this all the time. People have a rough go in the prelims. They're like, I'm just going to parlay, 4 of the fights together on the main card. What's the first name on that main card? It's Muhammad Naimov. So
I get where you're going with this.
Boom,
Yeah.
I want the first fight. Put him with Sadykhov, with Orolbai, with Kuniev. You're going to see that. I'm betting on all the hometown guys. Meanwhile, we're going to do the opposite and bet against hometown guys. So I'll go with him.
I'll take a sprinkle on Oban Elliott to be the Parlay Buster. Ko, I think, is a legit fighter. I don't trust some of these Korean fighters, but you're right. I think he's got the goods. I think this is going to be a pretty close one. If Oban Elliott doesn't get the finish, I think this could be pretty close. Ko's got an interesting stance. I think he can give Elliott some problems. Both guys have shown really good toughness and durability, and only 2 losses from each one. So I'll go with Ko because I just think these odds are so crazy on Elliott. I may look like a fool. Oban gets an easy win, but pre-fight, those odds are just crazy to me. All right, woulda, coulda, shoulda. What are we going to regret at the end of the night not betting the farm on? What are we going to be like, oh, my God, why? How? How did we not make a ton of money on blank?
I got to keep my woulda, coulda, shoulda streak going here, so I put some real thought into this one. And where I landed was Sadykhov. This guy is a finisher. He's going up against Nikolas Motta, who will get in a firefight at the drop of a hat. And he's going to make mistakes. We've seen him finish by a 40-plus-year-old Jim Miller. Now he's going to fight Nazim Sadykhov, who's ending people left and right. Sadykhov by finish in this setup fight, we're calling it. It's totally
a setup fight.
It's a setup fight. I think that fight's going to end pretty brutally, and we're going to be going, why didn't we fade the obvious setup fight of the night? So Sadykhov by finish.
I'm going Khalil Rountree. I just don't buy Jamaahal Hill after the Achilles injury. The guy's chasing money. I don't think he's got a real diverse skill set. I haven't seen anything in his last 2 fights that makes me think that he's championship ready. And Khalil Rountree, I poked a bunch of holes in his record. That's fine, but I just think some leg kicks to those legs of Jamaahal Hill, and all of a sudden this fight is completely different. And we saw what a beating Khalil Rountree took against Alex Pereira, and yet still he made it in round 4. And honestly, he had some really good moments against Pereira. He was holding his own. I love his story. If you haven't seen what Khalil Rountree looked like before he got in MMA, do yourself a favor and look that up. You truly will not believe what that man used to look like before he got in MMA. It's one of the most amazing things ever. So I just don't buy Jamaahal Hill. I think that Achilles injury is, I don't want to say derailed an entire career. It's just too serious of an injury. It throws everything off. So I'm not a Jamaahal Hill guy, not after the Achilles injury, so I'll go Khalil Rountree. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Thank you so much for hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel, and leave us a comment. Tell us what your best bets are. Tell us what fights you like. If you want to give a shit for last week, go right ahead. I know some of you aren't shy. We're all here for it, and we will always tell you when we win, and we're going to tell you when we lose. That is something that we pledge to do to everybody. And don't forget, our UFC and PFL pack is up. Obviously, some of you that commented last week are not going to be purchasing that, but for those of you that are mature and are interested in building your bankroll, you should be purchasing this. These are picks that we use to build our own bankrolls. These are plays that we bet with our own money. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Let's have a great card. And don't forget, this is an early start for us here in the States. It's around noon Eastern time. So get your bets in now. Get your bets in early. Don't wait till like 4 in the afternoon and be like, oh, the card's over. So that has happened with some people before. That is
we have some
absolutely...
friends that send those text messages, don't we?
Yeah.
Who you got tonight? Well, it's over.
This is a real thing that's happened with clients. Hey, I went to put in the plays and I can't find them. Yeah, fight's been over for 3 hours. All right. Thanks very much. Good luck in all your bets and take care.